Let's move next, before we take a brief break, to one additional company, and this is a sizable player too. It's Astral Foods, okay? This is a business that's got two major divisions. The one is poultry, the other is animal feeds. Now, the animal feeds business is what Gabron said earlier. That's a nice counterweight to the chicken operations. Their brand there, and you will have seen their trucks on the major roads, is Meadow Feeds. In the chicken business, though, they are major players. They've got chicken production batteries and slaughterhouses all over the country. Brands like County Fair, Earlybird, and then some organic brands as well. This one also comes out of Tiger Brands. 2001, they were shoved off into the market by themselves. Chris Schutte, the CEO, is very well regarded. It's going to be reflecting an interesting share price chart, because this is a business that was really supposed to be battling a couple of years ago. But you'll see that it's rocketed up to a market cap of 7.3 billion rand. Price to earnings ratio 11.6, dividend yield 4.72. And I guess it's more about the chickens with this one, Gerant. I mean, the chicken business was perceived to be at high risk because of Brazilian imports and the high maize prices and high fuel prices. But somehow in the last year, a combination of some of those trends going more in their favor, some government tariffs, and then maybe the kick in from the Meadow business, this thing shot up to like 175 rand a share.
Yeah, I think it was about 80 rand a share in 2011 or 2012. So certainly it just shows you can probably not forecast macro environment. If something like this is certainly very cheap, you know, it's a well-run company.
In 2012, 2013, and suddenly, boom.
Yeah, I think it's done 130% or something over the last year or two. Yeah, it's certainly a quality company. It's probably the best company in the specific space over time. We know Chris Schutte has done very well. All of these chicken companies are moving away from the mixed portions, quarter legs, etc., going into more downstream products because the margins are better there. Yep. You can't compete against Brazilian imports coming through Durban and so forth on the latter mixed portions, etc. So the revenues of all these companies mostly have declined. But on the other hand, what I like about Astral was the poultry feed business over time has always diversified it a little bit. Most of the guys do feed, but they only do it for themselves.
Right? Yeah. It's also feed, like they sell to feedlots for beef, for manufacture, to fatten it.
So it's different, it's different aspects as well. Yeah. So I think there's some dog food in there, the EPOLs and so forth of the world. Maybe that's with Rainbow, but I'm not sure. I think that's with RCL.
EPOL and are in RCL.
RCL, but these guys certainly doing well in the feed business as well.
Yeah. What else to say about them? I mean, Chris Schutte has been there a long time. He seemed to have had a fresh lease on life. He's highly regarded. People love the way that he recruits and trains and develops people. He's been in the business since forever. He's not going anywhere. He seems to be determined to take the business to new heights.
Yeah, they've expanded a little bit up in Africa as well under his leadership, but he's been there for quite some time. Yeah. He's been brilliant,
but he constantly looks at the assets. They shut down certain facilities. They expanded others, like in Standerton, which was one of their big areas of investment. They bought some businesses, I think, from
and I think they bought at the right time. They bought about 2 years back or 18 months back when everything was depressed in the market. So he's been around. He's been running this company brilliantly. It's about 50% feed business, 50% chicken business. Okay. So. Yeah,
one final question about the import issues. If the tariffs expire and the Brazilian thing keeps coming, that could be a concern. But I guess what you're implying is that these guys aren't taking this lying down and they're moving their production facilities into niche markets and into niche products. So you're not as concerned as you were that we're going to see another overwhelming wall of Brazilian imports and wash everybody away here.
Yeah, look, it's always a threat. These guys do about 30 or 40% on that specific business. Most of them do 30 or 40% of their chicken business's revenue from mixed portions or quarter legs or whatever they want to call it. So it certainly is a threat, but it's been declining over time in these guys' business models. And I think they're moving away from that. But certainly I think there's an American problem coming our way as well. So they also want to export to South Africa, and they also got subsidized in America, if I'm correct, on these products. So certainly there is threats, but certainly 2 years back was a brilliant opportunity, hindsight-wise, to buy these guys. Yeah. If it's now, only time will tell.
So hot or not on this one?
I'm going to go not hot. I just think these things has ran hot. I think the maize price is kicking up. I'm not going to go hot.
I'm going to go with hot just because I like the food space generally, and we know, of course, how popular chicken is in this country generally. You'd have to think that's going to continue to do well.